Good afternoon, my name is Karen Martin, and I'm going to be doing a presentation on ageism. So for this presentation, I'm going to be covering what discrimination against the elderly looks like, specifically the bias ageism. I will be using the case study about Mr. Floyd Cardwell, and then I will be discussing what inspired me about his story, the lessons I learned about his story, and different steps to take to avoid what happened, to avoid a repeat of what happened to Mr. Cardwell. So what is ageism? Ageism is a discrimination on the grounds of a person's age. It doesn't necessarily need to be about someone who's older. It could also be about someone who's too young. It's basically an obstacle, a bias. Next, I'm going to be discussing Mr. Floyd Cardwell. So Mr. Floyd Cardwell was attempting to get a job at Ruby Tuesday. He was only 59 in Florida, and he had a verbal telephone conversation with the hiring agency, and he thought he was going to get this job, and it looked well for him until he went in person for the physical interview, and the person hiring didn't seem interested. They seemed to want to get him out of the door as soon as possible. And so Mr. Floyd Cardwell went home, and he received an email stating that he did not get the position to work at Ruby Tuesday due to them wanting to keep their employees for a longer time. Now, this email was key to him being able to sue, because proving that ageism or discrimination for not getting a job is very difficult to do. And so this email was what helped him win. And I say win because all he got was some money. He didn't get the job. In fact, he actually had to retire early, unfortunately. He won $45,000, and I mean, it was a win, but not exactly. So this email was key evidence because it actually proved that he wasn't hired based on age. He was discriminated on. So that is Mr. Floyd Cardwell. The bias I will be talking about is ageism. Obviously, it is discrimination based on age. The little picture I have, it's showing an older gentleman with his resume applying to different jobs, and the signs that say he's too old, no thank you, no thank you, no, just because of his age. The problem with that is the retirement age is 66, and you still need an income until then. And so there's very limited ways to support your family. There's limited ways to get money if you're not working, if you're not able to get hired. The most surprising, impressing, and inspirational part of his story is that he did fight it, which is rare. Not many individuals who have reason or the case to fight this bias do. They just ignore it. He was forced to retire. Unfortunately, he was only 59 and he had to retire early, which means that he didn't even get all of the money he should have gotten. And he had 20 years of experience. So he had so much experience running restaurants and working at restaurants that he would have given so much to this Ruby Tuesday, and instead of giving him the chance, they just said no because of his age. What's an important thing I learned researching his story? So, ageism exists. It's everywhere. Not just in the work environment. Social media. You hear the saying, okay, boomer, or you shouldn't be driving, you're too old, or why aren't you in a nursing home yet? You can't wear that. That's for young people. So, ageism mainly targets the 50 to 80-year-olds in the workplace, and it is very difficult to prove. Unlike Mr. Cardwell's case, where his email helped him win, the law does little to protect these individuals. There's the law, the Age Discrimination in Employment Act of 1975, which helps, but not really. It still leaves a lot of people fall through the cracks. Like I said, it's very hard to prove. What steps can be taken to have people not have the similar experience in the future? It's just to be aware of these unconscious biases. We all get older unless we die young, and we all hope to not be treated unfairly, to be allowed to work. Ageism is actually an accepted bias. There's not much talk about it. There's just not much known about it, actually. Just understanding the value of those with more experience. I mean, he had 20 years. He would have given so much. I think maybe implementing more laws to help avoid ageism in the workplace, so that those with the experience can continue working. I came across different studies that stated that yes, we didn't fire them, but we gave them less job, or just not the same amount of work anymore. And so they were just sitting there doing nothing for however many hours instead of contributing to the work. In conclusion, ageism exists, and it is an accepted bias. The current retirement age is now 66 years old. With this comes an older generation of individuals requiring ways to support their families. There's age discrimination against this population has societal impacts across employment, healthcare, education, and training. If you have any questions, please contact me at my email. And these are my references. Thank you.